The Tale of Gulden-Draak, Prologue, Part 7. The Conspiracy. Torgen and Olga did not have to follow Sven long to realize he must not have seen anything. Sven spent most of his time whistling, occasionally making innocently cheerful comments about the day or telling a funny story from the village. Within minutes, Torgen could stop thinking about his knife and Olga could re-sling her bow. The faint peace of knowing Sven had been fooled did not last, though. Olga and Torgend only took the opportunity to return to their original anxious thoughts. They wondered about the dragon's enlarged territory, about how they could stay on the edge of whatever was going to happen next. Both had hoped in vain that the dragon would stick to its northern range. Embracing the beast's hunting grounds would soon break away from their own was proving awfully taxing. They had already surrounded their whole world to this thrill. Even though Sven did not know about the golden dragon, it did not look like it would take much time for the whole village, the whole world, to learn of the beast. With no more adventure, Torgen worried Olga would return to her hapless self, and their somewhat rekindled romance would die once more. Olga thought of the farm and whether or not they should be selling after all, though she remembered Torgend as well, of how he had dared greatly for her, of the adventure they had shared. Sven foolishly felt so sorry for the two that in addition to dinner at his wife and children's pleasure, he gifted them horns of ale, a haunch from the deer, a sheaf of grain, and a flask of oil before parting that evening. After all, Olga, he chuckled, you killed it dead the second time. The farm was only in moderate disrepair. Surprisingly, the house was just as they left it. Olga half expected the place to be ransacked. Joyfully, what she found instead were all her spring stores still in place, enough to get them through winter. If not a dreadful one, it would be. They probably thought it cursed, she muttered to herself. The next morning brought the first frost. Olga stared out the kitchen window, watching the door to the mountain slowly close. After a week of frantic wood chopping, the first snow fell. Don't worry, Olga, reassured Torgen. Our bag of treasure will still be there come spring. Does our adventure end there? She sighed. Torgen looked down, assuming she meant the worst about their romance. It was a very cold winter indeed. Olga remained melancholy for that flash of the dragon's back that lit her whole summer. Like a man who drank too much for years, suddenly without a drop of ale, she grew sick with pining. Torgen dutifully carried out most of the winter's chores, chopping, hauling, and stacking wood each day. He would then ice fish or caribou hunt alone. The auroras were far-reaching that year, casting their green spire south even beyond Norlin. Olga took this for the sign it was. The golden dragon would no longer be their secret, no longer belong to them, to her. Did you believe you could own the golden dragon? Could ever own him? Could ever own anything in this world that could not be taken from you? There's not even a land to which you could belong, which would not spit you from its mouth. Frozen with fear, Olga did not even move in response to the harsh voice that arose from the darkness without. A chill crawled over her. Her eyes frantically searched back and forth for the god who spoke. The snow-covered Torgen came back in the house with another load of wood. What is it, Olga? He pleaded. Finally, her eyes settled on her husband for the first time in days. We should have killed it, she cried.